So lately, I've been getting this divine download that came to me about the fact that we need to stop playing these roles, right? And when I say roles, I mean, even when we're little girls, I believe we begin to take on roles such as I'm going to be the golden child in my family, right? And that kind of leads a lot of women, a lot of my clients to feel like they have to be perfect. And if they are not getting the straight A's when they're in high school, they feel ashamed or they feel bad. And then if you don't have the perfect life by the time you're 30 years old or 40 years old, then somehow we fall into these patterns, right? It can be the golden child, it can be the rebel, it can even be the caretaker where you feel like you're constantly taking care of a parent or somebody else, or even if it's your mother, you could feel like you're more like her friend or more like her husband than you are like her daughter. The same thing with your father. You could be taking on certain roles. Even think about something like twins, like Tia and Tamara Mowry, right? We know one of them is on the reel. We know that another one of them, she kind of has her own cooking show. And I did a blog on this a couple of years ago, but they discuss how because of their appearance growing up, when they were on Sister Sister, one of them, when they would get fan mail, would get a lot of, oh, you're sexy, oh, I want to date you. And then the other one would get a lot of, you're goofy, you're funny. And they kind of took on these roles, which was ultimately damaging, especially when it came to relationships, because it impacted their self esteem, it impacted their confidence, but then it also impacted who they felt as though they were worthy enough of attracting into their life based on those roles. So when we take on, I'm the golden child, I have to be perfect, or I take on that I'm the goofy one and no one will want me or want to be with me because of that, then we feel misunderstood. And then we feel misunderstood, number one, but then we also feel like we don't belong. And then we get into the feeling like you're a black sheep, or I call myself a white sheep sometimes, and your family, and you're like, I don't belong, I don't fit in. But then also we get frustrated or we get resentment if you're taking on a role such as feeling like you always got to take care of your dad or always take care of your mom, and you never get to be the child. And that means that it's time for you to heal something in that inner little girl in you. If it started when you were younger, or if it's the teenage version of you, or if it's the 20-year-old version of you, because oftentimes we make these agreements and we take on these roles and we don't realize just how much they impact us. But then we get frustrated when we get that phone call. We automatically get frustrated because it's like, now I got to play this role. Or say you get a rejection from a job, then it's like, but I'm the golden child, I can't possibly get that rejection, right? Because we're trying to fulfill the roles. So what I need you to know, what I need you to learn, what I need you to understand is that it's time to let those roles go. It's time for you to start unpacking those things because they impact us in every single area of our life. And if we continue to carry on those roles, we get further, further, and further away from who God called us to be. It's time for us to unpack it. It's time for you to heal it. It's time for you to deal with it so that we can get back to the spaces and the places and the woman that God called us to be before the world told us who we should be. And we begin to take on these roles that we live out day in and day out, and we get frustrated about, and we get upset about, and we try to fit into certain categories and do certain things so we're perfect, or so we're living up to that role, right? Because we feel like we're obligated to keep taking care of somebody, even when we know we don't have to do it to the level that we do it at, but we keep doing it, and we get resentful as a result of that, especially towards family members, right? And sometimes even towards friends. But if we learn how to heal those spaces by first looking at it, right? You cannot fix what you cannot face, right? You can't change the things that you're not willing to look at as a catalyst for change in your life. So think about, what roles am I playing? What roles have I taken on since I was a little girl? What role do you play in your family, right? Are you the one that everyone comes to for advice? Are you the golden child? Are you the caretaker? Are you the rebel? And you do things which constantly put you in that place, and somebody has to constantly come and save you, right? Start thinking about, what are the roles that I'm playing, and how have I seen that thing play out since I first recall it or remember it again. Usually it's when you're little, but think about, when did it start first come to be, and how can you work to heal that and dismantle that thing and break that thing down so you can free yourself from that bondage and get back to the woman you were before the world told you who you should be and you took that role on. right? You will absolutely feel a shift and a change in your confidence and just who you are as a woman if you're able to unleash and get away from that old role and do something new.